friends, and welcome back to my crafty space, where I share my memory keeping projects and processes with all of you. If you're new here, then hello, my name is Crystal, and I am so excited that you are here. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below so that you can see all my future crafty videos, and also all of the links and products that I mention in this video I will put in the description down below. So today I am working on a project for a new mini series, and it will be a use it up challenge. So my friend Tashi, she is Tashiana Gordon here on Instagram, or precisely Tashi on Instagram and YouTube. She and I are challenging each other to go back into our archives of older story kits from Ali Edwards and to get them used up to tell some stories. So the first kit that we are going to be using is the Give story kit. And I sat down today and sketched out a bunch of different story ideas. And the first one I'm going to start with is this one. Which is going to be a story about my sister. I am the oldest of three. I have a brother who's younger than me, and then the youngest is my sister. So she and I are 8 years apart, but people often mistake us for twins, like all the time. It's crazy. So what my plan is, or I guess what my inspiration piece was for this page, was this tag. This is a big rubber tag that has the word give on it. And I wanted to challenge myself to use this because it's kind of, to me, it's kind of a hard product to use because it's so big and not awkward, but it's just a different kind of material. So I wanted to use this tag. That was my goal. Knowing that, I thought I could do some kind of tag flip book with this and talk about different things that my sister brings to my life. So things that she has given me in our relationship. So I went through some photos over the last year and pulled out 5 that are either of her or of me and her. So like this is a picture of me and my sister. Her name is Haley. Just us being goofy, my sister meal prepping with me. This was on a trip that we took down to see my brother. And then this is a picture of my sister and my daughter, Isabella. So these I'm going to cut apart and make them into a tag shape to put into this tag book. Then I typed out some journaling that goes along with each of these pictures to include in that tag book as well. And then this is just like a conclusion page. So this is all going to be part of that tag book. Tag flip, tag book, I don't know what to call it. Oh yeah, my sketch. So then I wanted a way to put it into my normal story album, which is a 6x8 album. It's 2.5 inch spine. Right, I think it's 2.5 inch. So I have this picture from my wedding, which is my sister and I like hugging it out before I walk down the aisle. So I want to take this picture and make this a full page out of pocket picture, just like this, pretty much not even embellished at all. Like maybe I'll see if there's anything I want to add to it, but I doubt it. And then I'm going to use this vellum to create a pocket, a small pocket that will fit this tag. Let me see if I can explain this at all. That will fit this tag and essentially go right here, and then it will flip so that you can see the full picture. Anyway, this is probably really confusing without me getting into it, so why don't I just go ahead and get started, and then we'll see where this takes us. Okay, so when I filmed this video originally, I was planning to just to not do a voiceover and to just do the spread real time with you guys, but it took me a lot longer than I was expecting. So here we are. I'm going to voice over the rest of it until we get to the end. So first thing I'm doing here is trimming out that large photo. Now that photo is printed at it's 8.25 tall by 6.875 wide. Once I have that trimmed out, I will use a previous project to line up my holes, and I will hole punch it with this 6 hole punch I got off of Amazon. I will link that down below for you guys. So now the holes are punched, the photo is ready to go, and so I'm going to start assembling the tag book. I have my journaling printed on this just plain white cardstock, in addition to a card that's kind of like a quote card. I printed the journaling on, it's a 3-inch by 4-inch canvas, which is roughly the size of that tag. Once I get everything trimmed, I will then line it up with the tag and cut it to have like the corners clipped off and give it that tag shape. Now I also did my journaling at the bottom of the card, and that's because I intend to use the stamp set that I just brought over right there to stamp a sentiment at the top as a repeat element for each of these tags. So now I will line it up to the tag and clip off the corners, and then I will bring over a pencil to kind of like make a mark where the hole is and get the hole punched as well. And for that hole, I will be using a power punch, which has a bigger, like it makes a bigger hole than some other tools that I have. So there is that. And then I am just going to repeat that for every single one of these in this group. So I'm going to skip over that for you guys so you don't have to watch me cut those out every single time. I also planned to trim out those pages, but then I realized that I wanted to adhere them to the back before I trimmed off the corners, just so I didn't, mess up on the alignment. It would make it perfectly aligned. And then I was debating how to structure this tag book. Because that large rubber piece is rubber, it will stick to a photograph. So I didn't want the photograph to be the first thing in the book. Otherwise, it would stick to that tag. So instead, I pull out my scrap paper right here. And I literally, this one that's right on top ended up being perfect. So I just pulled that out and went with it. It's got a grid pattern on one side and then like a very thin black and white stripe on the other side. So it worked and I went with it. I like to make my decisions as quickly as possible to waste the least amount of time. So now I'm going to cut out 2 tag shapes out of this pattern paper. One that's going to go in the beginning of the book and one that's going to go at the end. Now the one at the end, I will have that quote card adhered to the back, but the one that's in between the rubber piece and the first picture will just be, that patterned paper with nothing adhered to either side of it. So it'll be the grid on one side and the stripe on the other. I will put a stamp sentiment on the intro part of it, so the grid side, but I will do that a little bit later. So I'm going to get that hole punched and kind of lay out the how this is going to go together. Actually, before I do that, I will go ahead and stamp this. Nope, that's a lie. So I pulled out the stamp. The stamp's going on that page, and now I put together the book as it will be. Then I will stamp the sentiments on all of the papers. So this one, I'm going to pull out this stamp right here. It just says, it's just the word give in Allie's handwriting. And underneath that is a smaller stamp that says this story is a gift. So I debated on colors. I pulled over all of my colors. And then at first I thought I was going to go with black, and then decided I wanted it to be a little softer. So I pulled out an archival ink. It's called Watering Can, and it's a gray ink. And then for the give, so the give is going to be I wanted it to be in a color. So I pulled out this pink. I believe it is Pink Flamingo, which is pink number 2. I will link that down below so that, for sure you have the right color here. But I believe it's Pink Flamingo. It's a scrapbook.com ink. I primed the stamp on the back of my hand just to put some oils onto it to make sure that the stamp impression is the best. Oh, there you go. Well, if you could read that, that gives you the stamp that it was, or the color that it was. Anyway, so I primed the stamp on the back of my hand. It just adds oils so that the impression is good. And I stamped it a couple times just to double check that everything was good before stamping it on the tags. And I am just going to assembly line them, stamp the give on all of them, and then I'll go in and stamp this story is a gift underneath that on all of them. And then once I do that, I will take that intro page and stamp that title, which says, thank you for all the gifts you have given to my life, I believe. And I also choose to do that in gray as well. So I guess while I'm doing that, and then once I get that stamped, I'll adhere pictures to the journaling cards and then work to get this thing assembled all together. So while I'm doing that, let's talk about this challenge. So I know that a lot of scrapbookers out there, a lot of you guys probably have a huge stash of products that need to be used up. I mean, I know it happens to me where I will see a product or see a kit or see something and I just have to have it, and then I get it and then I put it on my shelf and I don't use it. So I have been making a really big effort with the new kits that I get to use them all up as much as possible. I have 3 story albums. So one is a story album for my husband and I, or / family stories. One is for my daughter and one is for my son. And I made a goal to do a story spread once for each kit in each of those books. So a story about each of us. And then in addition to that, I also try to do a Project Life spread using the story kits as well. And then from there, if I have time to do more stories than that, I do. And I just try to get as many done as possible before the end of the month. So in addition to that, Tashi and I were talking about having a bunch of kits in our storage, basically, that we needed to pull out and get used. So we thought this would be a really fun challenge. And that being said, what I would like for you guys to do is to comment below and tell me what kits you currently have, that are previous kits that you have unused in your stash. It is possible that Tashi and I have the same kits. And if we do, we could totally do a series about, we could totally spend a month doing some spreads to use up the stash of that kit and give you guys some inspiration on what to do, just some different story ideas to use your product, because, let's encourage each other to use our stuff and get our stories told. That's why we do this, right? We scrapbook so that we can tell our stories and document our lives. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're just going back in, using what we got, using what we love, and getting our stories told. So hopefully this challenge will inspire you to do that as well. And also, this was a kit that came out around Thanksgiving time, I think back in 2017. But that does not mean that the stories you tell have to be Thanksgiving themed. They don't have to be giving thanks and giving gifts are not necessarily only November and December stories. So, hopefully we can inspire you to tell some different stories with these. Okay, so the tag book is assembled. I ended up using that white, it's like a white satin ribbon on the top, and I just tied it in a knot. But I will mention that if you do the same thing, you will want to make sure to give a little bit of slack so that your pages can turn. I mean, it is a book and you want the pages to flip, so I had to finagle it to do that a little bit. Next, I want to make a pocket. So I am pulling over my vellum and trying to measure out how big this pocket should be. So the first time, that was my computer. The first time I cut this, I cut it at 3.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches long. That's false. 3.5 inches tall by 8.5 wide. And then when I lined up my tag in here, I decided that it wasn't big enough, that I wanted the pocket to be a little bit bigger so that I had extra room for sewing. So I decided to cut it at 4 inches tall by 8.5 wide. Then I will score it directly in half. So it's 4.25 is where that is scored. And then I'm going to take that vellum, I'm going to show you right here that there's the spine. I'm going to take it and sew it along the bottom and along the side. And then I put that tag in there and I'm going to pull over my ruler to measure how much space there is between the edge and my tag, which is roughly 1/2 inch, I think is what it is. I'm pretty sure it's 1/2 inch. And when I take that over to my sewing machine, I'm going to sew 2 lines. So one at the edge and one at that, whatever that is, 1/2 inch mark. Now, once I did that, I came back and put my tag in it and decided that it was still too loose. So I went back and sewed one more line on the bottom and on the top. I gave myself, I think, probably another 1/4 inch or maybe 1/2 inch. I can't really tell. So at the bottom, I only need the one stitch line. On the spine, I wanted 2, and that's just to help give it some stability. And then when I hole punch it, the hole punches will go in between the 2 stitches, which you're going to see me do really soon. I think I'm just lining it up to make sure those holes get in the middle. And for this, I'm going to use my my crocodile because it has a smaller hole. And I did that because if I were to punch it with the larger hole, it would have punched through my stitching. And then that would have, been a whole fiasco because the stitching would have come undone and pocket ruined. So instead I used the smaller one. It works just fine. It works just fine on there. It turns just fine in the book. And then that becomes my pocket. So now you can see I'll put the tag book in it, and then that will hold the booklet over top of my photo. I did debate on just sewing down vellum onto the picture, and then I could just put the book right in there and it would all be attached to the picture. But then I decided to do it this way instead so that I could actually see all of the picture when the pocket moved. So I wanted to add some embellishments. I pulled over this little container, so that is all of the pieces I have for this give kit. And I do have it sectioned off based on the different ideas that I came up with. But there are a few embellishments in there that I have to just use wherever I can use them. So it's these hearts, the cork circles, and then the sticker label sheet. And you can see that I've used quite a bit of that product already on previous projects. So I decided to put it's like a mustardy yellow color heart on the vellum pocket. And I want to put a sentiment on top of that from one of these tiny word stickers. I can't remember where that particular sticker sheet came from. It was definitely from one of my Allie Edwards kits. I don't know if that was a Stories by the Month kit or a story kit, but came from one of them. It says, press pause on this moment, I think. There will be close-ups later where we can verify that's what it says, but I'm pretty sure it says press pause on this moment. I like the way that looks, and it brings in like the black from the black and white photo. It just has a very classic look. And then I went to the photo itself and decided I did want to put something on there, but I couldn't figure out what. So I thought maybe another heart to repeat that shape, and then went against that, like decided against it. I thought about the cork circles, and then I decided to pull out this little box of embellishments. And there is a rubber circle in there that says, thankful for you. It was an add-on piece, I think from the gratitude story kit that came out, I want to say in October or November. So I'm going to use red line tape to put that on there. That will hold it on there really secure. And then that will complete this page. So we'll head back and slow this video back down. And what I will do is read to you my journaling inside of that tag book and just kind of close out this page. And that's going to be the story. And something else we'll go over here. It's, not a big deal. That can come later. Okay. So we've got press pause on this moment, thankful for you, this little pocket turns, sister, and there's the two of us there. I like this because then I get to still see this whole picture. And then out comes the tag book, the give rubber tag on the top. Thank you for the gifts you have brought to my life. Okay, so the first one says, give, this story is a gift. And I wrote all of these like mini letters per se. So this one says, Haley, I'm so thankful for our mutual love of art, whether that is our shared love for crafts and memory keeping or our shared love for art in the world around us. I'm so thankful to have a sister with whom I share so much in common and who loves to dream and create as much as I do. Okay, and then the picture that goes with that is this one, and it's us in front of like an Art Deco wall. Next, Haley, I'm so thankful that we both have such strong relationships with our parents and with each other. I'm so thankful that you have become my absolute best friend, my confidant, and so much more. I'm so thankful for that our guys have a similar relationship to us, and I'm so excited for all of the adventures the future holds. And the picture with that one is my sister, myself, and my mom. Okay, Haley, I'm so thankful that you are as silly as me. We have a very similar sense of humor, and I love all the time we spend taking ridiculous photos or laughing over the littlest things. I love the moments when we've laughed until we cried. I'm thankful that you get me and I get you. And I've got this picture, so my sister moved into an apartment recently with her fiance, and they have these like wrestling masks from Mexico, and I just like thought that they were so funny and told her that we should put them on and take ridiculous pictures, and so we did. There we are. Ridiculous. Okay. Haley, I'm so thankful that you are a joiner, that you come along with me on my crazy adventures, like food prepping. I love that you are a goal setter and an apprentice planner, apprentice to me, that is. I love that you also thrive with structure, but that you also have a little chaos in you too. So this one is a picture of just my sister, and this is on a day that we meal prep together, which is that's a whole thing in itself. Okay, and the last one, Haley, I'm so thankful for the wonderful aunt you are to my kids. I love how fiercely you love both of them and how much they adore you in return. I know that someday you're going to make the very best mom, and I can't wait to be an aunt to your kids. Thank you for loving on my kids like they were your own. And that is a picture of my sister and my daughter, Isabella. And then the very last page says, sister, noun, a female sibling, your first confidant and closest ally, a sharer of dreams and keeper of secrets, your most loyal friend forever. So there we go. That is my book for the gifts my sister has given to me in our relationship. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I hope that you feel inspired to go back into your stash, pull out some of your older kits, and tell your stories. You know, that's part of the reason why we do what we do with memory keeping and scrapbooking, is to get our stories told and to leave a legacy behind us. Until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Also, if you liked this video, don't forget to like and comment down below and let me know what kits you have in your stash so we can see if we can possibly do some use it up challenges with those as well. Also, I guess one last comment is to go and check out Tashi's YouTube. I'm sure you all probably already follow her, but if you don't, I will have her account linked down below in the description. So go check her out and see what she's done with the gift kit today as well. She will be posting a video today as well using this kit. So go see what she's done, and until next time, have a great day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!